What up, y'all? Today I wanted to come at you with another video, and today the topic of discussion is the covert narcissist and the top 8 signs that you're going to see in the covert narcissist. A lot of times what you find with the narcissist and the covert narcissist is that they are going to look impeccable from the outtake when you first meet them, but behind the mask they're a whole different person, and but they will do anything to protect that mask. And you see this a lot in females, men as well, but not as often. You see it more often in females. So the first sign is going to be that their appearance, how they present themselves, is huge for the covert narcissist. Their impression on people is a big deal. It's everything. And that's what they're so concerned about. So when you meet them, their appearance can be fragile, it could be charming, they could be sweet, they could be secure or insecure, because they're the vulnerable narcissist. So they're gonna come at you. A lot of times once you meet them, you start dating them, and you go on several dates with them, they're gonna talk to you about how, they've been trying their whole life real hard, but they've had, bad luck or, hard luck, but, they're a good stand-up individual, and that everybody, like their exes, have mistreated them, and they've got caught up in, they're a single mother raising a child, but they're the best mother, and they're doing what they can, and they're working real hard, and that sort of thing. What I have to say about the covert narcissist, though, is the ones that I've been with have all been covert, but they were very good hard workers at work. But outside of that, and the way that they would do things to people, even at work, would be terrible. Number 2 is they're passive aggressive, and in passive aggressive, you're gonna get the silent treatment. If you offend the covert narcissist, the greatest thing they'll do is the silent treatment. They also will do underhanded compliments. They will sabotage, they will give backhanded compliments, and they will do things like passive aggressive type stuff would be, if you asked your spouse to empty the dishwasher, then they will say, yeah, I'll do it, and they'll never do it. Or they'll just end up coming late when they gotta meet you somewhere. So they'll do things kind of like that, like procrastinate on things, but they'll do it on purpose. Or they may not answer your phone call. They may, answer it, a text like several hours down the road, and you're supposed to be real important to them, or it's a real important situation, and they'll just let it go. Number 3 is they're very jealous. So they're in a lot of competition with people around them. They have bitterness, and they are always like in a type of competition with people. And so they're always wondering like where you rank with them and how they're competing with you, because like they will respect usually people above them, but never people below them. But their whole idea is to get above that person. So they may respect individuals above them for a time, but they're going to try to sabotage them, try to get ahead of them and above them, so that they can mistreat them then, And that's kind of what they do also in their relationship, because they find somebody that's better than them in their opinion. We don't look at people like that. We just look like we have something to give, you have something to give, and we like you, want to get to know you. But that's not like that. With the covert narcissist, they're always in competition. And so you'll find that they sabotage stuff a lot. So number 4 is cognitive dissonance. So you're going to get a lot of things with the covert narcissist where their actions do not match their words. And so it causes you to like double think in your mind a lot. And that's what causes, in my opinion, a lot of that rumination that we get. Because with the covert narcissist, you're like, they're telling me this, but then they're doing that, and you're like, it's like their actions just don't match their words. Like if they tell you that, oh, I love you, but they're not acting like they love you. Or, they're I don't cheat, but then they're not acting like they don't cheat. Maybe you hadn't caught them yet at this particular time. You will eventually, because they're cheating all the time. But they put forward the mask, and so it is to the level that when they're talking with you, they almost will act like they believe it. And I do think that they gaslight themselves quite often into believing these things. And then they'll go off and they have no conscience, so they just believe whatever they want, and it is fact to them. So cognitive dissonance, and their actions don't match their words, and you start feeling a certain sort of way. And it makes me think of that scripture, what's a double-minded man's unstable in all his ways, man or woman, so it's like you have two different thoughts about an individual, and it's impossible to do that. So it causes this split in you, and you don't know what to do. Next is they'll degrade you. Number 5 is they'll degrade you. They'll want to make you feel bad. They want to degrade you, but they'll do it in a nice way. And then, they'll degrade you, but then they'll be acting like they're trying to help you. And they'll act like, that's how they do it. And it's just like a veneer, but they're really technically degrading you, but it's kind of like gaslighting you, because they're acting like they want to help, and they're presenting it like they want to help, but really they're degrading me to my face. And so it's kind of and it's just crazy the way they act. But this is something that you'll find, and it's usually because you'll say something to them, and then you'll get in an argument, and then it will lead to them degrading you for something. And then they'll kind of peg it to something in that situation, or no, this happened because you did this, and that's why you're just jealous or something, but I'm only trying to help you, So that's kind of stuff that you'll get all the time with the covert narcissist. And that's kind of how they start a smear campaign on you as well. After you break up with them, they'll be like, oh, he has anger issues. I'm concerned about him, but I had to leave because he had anger issues. That's not at all. It's because they was cheating on you and you tried to address it and stuff like that. And they don't want to, they just give you the silent treatment and walk off and try to blame shift it onto you, and switch up that energy. Next is, so this is a narcissist where you will see sometimes they will apologize, and that may make you think that they are not a narcissist, but it's just a faux apology. And it's kind of like one of them things, they'll just say the apology just to let's just keep it moving. They don't mean it. When we apologize, we mean it. And we mean what we say what we mean. Generally speaking, that's what we live by. And with the covert narcissist, they're just saying things just to get it to end. And then, they also don't want to deal with it. So they might just apologize, but not want to dig into the situation. And then they'll be like, oh, I apologize, so leave it alone, it's over. Because they're guilty of something. And if you dig in, then they'll have to silent treat you because they know that they're wrong. But they'll make a check mark of this, and they'll make sure that they get you back later. Because they're very vengeful, and they don't forget anything. They'll also, number 7 is they'll make you not want to be yourself. So what they do, the covert narcissist will always, whenever you meet an individual, there's things that you like to do, there's ways that you present yourself, things you're passionate about, and they'll slowly take you and put you in a box. They will slowly consolidate you, because they don't like this and they don't like that, and they want you to act like they want you to act. And if you don't act the right way, then what they'll do is they'll start giving you this look if it's a public thing, and then you're in trouble, or you're gonna shut up after that because you're gonna be feeling it later. And so these are types of things that you're going to see in the Covert Narcissist. And it's almost like everything is handled behind closed doors. And what happens behind closed doors, and they'll tell you this, what happens behind closed doors is what happens behind closed doors. But the public image is always different. And they'll make it clear to you that what we do behind closed doors, none of it is to get out. Because everything they're doing to you, you're the victim. You're the victim, but they play the victim. And you're the one getting abused behind closed doors. You know, I mean, a lot of times for the men, it's verbal and it is psychological and it's spiritual, because a lot of them, you know, have negative energy. To where in the female, if the female is with a covert narcissist, they may get also physically abused behind closed doors, or, you know, sexually abused behind closed doors. Because just because you're married to someone or you're dating someone doesn't mean they can still, you know, like a lot of people think that someone can be sexually abused, but I mean, just because you're dating them or some shit, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, you can be violated, man, in all these different ways. So it's usually, you know, it could be more physical as well for the female dealing with a male covert, but for the male, it's highly, though, psychological, and it's highly spiritual, and it's highly emotional type abuse. So, and so you just feel like you could never be yourself. And so the next thing is like they're vulnerable, but yet you'll see a lot of times that they're grandiose. You'll get a lot of glimpses of this because technically speaking, and for all intents and purposes, they are grandiose underneath that mask. And they are just like the overt narcissist. They have just an agenda like the overt narcissist, but they just kind of go on a covert level because they know they can get their agenda done much easier and people will believe them more often. And so it's so much more difficult. Give me a thumbs up if you're still on, and give me a like and a subscription, please, just to push it out. But anyway, so that's kind of how it is. You'll see a lot of grandiosity. They are the kings and the queens, and we're their servants and slaves. So that's the kind of stuff that you'll see, you'll find, and it's the wolf in sheep's clothing, man or woman. And they're punks. And so it makes it kind of difficult to deal with and difficult to lead them because they, friends and family will never understand. They'll never believe you. They'll believe the narcissist because they look so good out there. And, you know, they present themselves a certain way and they have that charm and everything. Usually, if they're, some of them are kind of a little sloppy though. And if they're like somatic and stuff, they've probably had partner issues. So like usually people will eventually, if they're around them enough, they'll see and they'll know that you're the truth and they're the lie. Sometimes it may take them a little while, but you just sit back and they'll get it over a period of time. But anyway, that's all for today. Stand tall, soldier. Peace out. Love y'all. Peace.